Hello and welcome to this teacher's guide to using examWizard. In this short video, I'm going to be introducing the software, talking about how and why you might use it, and then talking you through how to log into the software, how to find papers, and how to build, save, and export your own papers from a series of past paper questions. So how and why would you want to use examWizard? Well, I'm a past teacher myself with 17 years of experience, and many of the things that I would be doing as a teacher include, amongst other things, the writing of mock exam papers, or perhaps the setting of mock exam papers if I'm not writing them myself, and also the setting of homework or various class-based tasks over the course of the academic year or as part of a scheme of work. Now, examWizard makes all of these tasks much easier. If I was setting a past paper as a mock exam, what I would probably do in the traditional sense is I'd go onto an exam board's website such as Pearson. I'd go through it and look for the most appropriate mock exam paper. I might choose a few over the course of an academic year, so I'm strategically placing these to test various elements of my students' understanding in relation to my program of study. But this can be sometimes quite taxing. It can be difficult to find papers on a website, and certainly quite difficult to find the paper, the mark scheme, and perhaps the examiner's report that we might need to use if we're supporting new teachers to the department as well. Now, examWizard brings all of these things together in one easy place, and it's all nicely organised, and it updates year on year with each series of exam as it gets added, alongside SAMs as well. In addition to this, as I said, you may wish to set a series of homeworks, or you may wish to use past paper questions, not full papers, in your lessons as part of a bigger scheme or as part of your wider program of study planning for the entire year, or even planning through key stages. And examWizard makes this easier as well. Not only do you have to use, or can you use, full exam papers, you can also pick and select from all of the available materials to make your own shorter papers, or even just choosing questions individually. And just like the full papers, these can be printed off alongside mark schemes, alongside examiners' reports to help support your teachers and also your learners. So in my opinion, this is a huge time-saving, labour-saving device, and it makes the process of finding and setting exam papers or even exam style questions a lot easier. In order to use the examWizard software, I suggest the first thing you do is open up an internet browser such as Google Chrome and type in examWizard into the search bar. One of the first instances that should pop up is the link to the examWizard page there, so I'm just going to go onto that to my index page. Now here you'll choose the qualification that's applying to you, so general qualification subjects, BTEC, functional skills and T-levels are all included. In my instance, I'm going to be choosing religious studies. When you've chosen your subject, click Proceed to Login. Now here, you'll be asked to type in your username and password, and this is your Edexcel online password that you can get provided by your exams officer if you don't have it already. This is also used for other Pearson software, such as Results Plus. Make sure when you log in to click the box, I accept the terms and conditions, and then press the login button. Here you'll be presented with the examWizard homepage, where you can do a range of things which I'll be talking through in this guide. Now, one of the things I discussed in the introduction was this ability on examWizard to easily find past papers. So quite simply, we click on Find Past Papers there, and it will go through a series of questions. So I'm going to just choose the most simple option. I'm going to choose the new series, the GCSE 9-1 papers. Obviously, we have got the legacy papers on there as well. And you can see from the drop-down menus on the side, we can refine this further and further down. But at the moment, it's displaying 206 results there of all the papers across the whole spectrum of 9-1 availability. So I'm just going to click the top options. As you can see, I'm using religious studies. We'll choose the SAM materials there, and again Unit 1A, and if we click search, it should just pull up the papers that apply to those criteria. But as I said, you've got the whole breadth of the Pearson catalogue to select from there. So if we click on this paper there, we're brought to a preview of the paper, so we can scroll down and have a look just to see what the content is. And as I said earlier, you have access also to the mark scheme for the paper. And if this was a live series paper as well, we'd also have the examiner's report. Obviously, I chose the SAM in this particular case, so that wasn't the case. Now, from here, we can then choose to download the report, print it, or obviously export it so we can see it in PDF format. Now, in this final part of the video, I want to talk about a feature that I think is the most powerful within examWizard if used correctly, and that's this idea of building a paper. So here we can search for questions across the whole back catalogue of Pearson past papers and SAM material and build our individual mock exam, or perhaps a series of homework activities or even lesson content for a scheme of work, for example. So I'm just going to click on there, build a paper. Now, just with the idea of finding the past papers, it comes out with these drop-down menus as well. So I'm just going to choose GCSE 9 to 1 because I want the new series of papers, and again it will give us a series of drop-down menus again. So we can select the specification. Let's try Spec B this time. We can select from a series of years, but obviously if we leave these unticked, it will select from all of those areas, which you might want to do. I'm just going to select a couple of years, 2018 and 19 live series. Obviously these are both from June. If you had other series perhaps running later in the year, they would come up as well. Now, in terms of the unit, I might focus just on one paper, so let's choose Christianity there. And obviously I can choose a lot of other sections if they're available, but this one might be interesting as well, selecting the type of question. So for example, if as a teacher you was practicing just on question D, for example, you might choose that, or any of the others in that particular case. I'm going to leave that unchecked because that will give me more of a selection of questions when I hit the search bar. So let's hit that and see what comes up. Okay, so we've got 48 results here, and they are shown down the side. If they're not all displayed, we can click show more, and it will keep adding to the question bank that I can see down the side. Now, with each of these questions, you can see it gives you a little bit of a preview, a bit of information about what the question's like. So you can think very carefully about how you want to kind of level up your paper as it goes through. You might want to start with simpler questions or harder questions, or you might just want to focus on one thing, and it gives you that information there. So for example, I might just be focusing on some of these smaller, shorter 4-minute questions or 4-mark questions. So if I click on view, I can see the question previewed over here. And just like with the when we was finding past papers before, it will give us the mark scheme if it's available, and obviously an examiner's report with, in some cases, exemplar answers or past answers from students who have attempted this question from the past series. So if I'm happy with that question, I can click on add, and you can see up the top here it's adding questions to my existing paper. You can see I've already added a few in a previous trial of this software. So we've got 4 questions there, and it's totaling up to 17 minutes or 17 marks. So this is really good because you can preview how long these questions might be, and if you was doing a series of homework tasks over a scheme, you might be trying to aim to keep these within a certain time boundary. And also, if you're focusing on a particular type of questions, you can choose those and select those in the earlier drop-down menus as well. So if I'm happy with the amount of questions and the time and marks available there, I'd probably go to view and edit the paper first. Now this shows me all the questions that I've chose. Here's some earlier ones that I added on a different paper there, but obviously it saves your progress as you're going through. And at this point, you can scroll down and see what the layout of the paper is like. Now, if you want to change the layout, again, it's very simple. We can just go over to the arrows on the side, the up-down arrows, and just move the questions about. It takes a few seconds, but then it will readjust the paper and move things around to perhaps a better layout for you. If you're then happy with the paper, what we can do is choose to save this, and this will go into your My Papers section, or we can export it if we want to go, just like before when we was finding the papers, and print or save the paper directly there as well. So I'm just going to go to save. I'll give it a name. We'll call it paper 1. I suppose it's more like a homework, but we'll call it paper 1 there. And that is now saved. So if I go to save and finish now, you'll see paper 1 now appears in my paper, so it's saved on there, so I can go back to it if I need to. All of the actions that we had when we was finding a paper here about editing, about making copies, printing, and obviously if we want to discard the paper, we can do that there. And it gives us all the details of the paper here, how many questions there are, the total number of marks, and roughly how much time it should take a student to complete this paper. So that's the end of the video. I hope it was interesting and informative to you, and I very much recommend that you try out using examWizard yourself.